Hello grade 12s, welcome back to a new video. So in today's video we will be doing the business studies paper 2 that was written in 2023 by the matrix. As you know, the paper is 150 marks and it's written for 2 hours. So this is the question paper that we'll be doing today, and the first thing you have to know is that you need to go through your instructions and your information, and you have to read the following instructions carefully before answering your questions. So it's very important, guys, that you understand your instructions and you know the information that you need to know before you answer your question paper, because you might miss out on very important information. Okay, so as you know, the question paper has section A, B, and C. So in question A, you answer everything. Is where we have multiple choice questions, true or false, and so forth. And then in section B, you will be given 3 questions and you will be required to answer 2 of the 3 questions. And in question C, you will have 2 essay questions and you'll be required to answer 1 of the 2 essay questions. Okay, so in section B, what I would advise you to do is that you just take a pencil and just mark the amount or the number of questions that you know, and then go you do that in question 2, question 3, and compare. If you do not know, maybe we have business operations and you don't know, let's say it's business operations and business function and business venture. So if you know business functions, business operations more than business ventures, answer 1 business function, business operation question, and then go to number 4. Question number 4. Question number 4 is a combination of question 2 and question 3. Okay, so we have business operations and business ventures in question 4. All right, so that's what you do. You check whether you know a lot of question 3 or a lot of question 2. And if you can see that my business venture is not really good, then skip it and go to question 4, where you will answer again. Half of question 4 will be business operations that you know. Okay, so don't downplay yourself. That's how you do. Question 4 is miscellaneous questions. So it's a combination of business operations and business ventures. So that is a tip that I am giving you guys. And yeah, so I hope it comes in handy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share with your friends and families. Okay, and if you are new, hi, welcome. Yeah, and make sure that you have a watch, guys. If you know that you're slow, just have a watch. And another tip I can give you is that if you do not know a question, skip it. Go to the next one. Don't stay there, scratch your head. No, move. Remember, time is running out. So move to the next question. Relax in your exam. Answer questions that you know. Okay. And another thing about business studies is that it's general knowledge. So try to answer questions as you understand them. Okay, maybe you are asked to let's say hypothetically speaking, you are asked to give the advantages of joining a trade union as someone who is working. As you know that trade union protect workers, so you are just going to write the positive things that you know about joining a trade union is that you will have someone who fights and supports you when you have to go into when you have disputes with your employer, or someone who will negotiate your salaries on your behalf, things like that. So make sure that you try by all means to understand your work and your content. And it's very important to have notes. If you don't have notes, they will go a long way, so that you don't have to be going through a lot of question papers. You have to have your simple book where you have written everything out and you just keep referring to that book. Okay, and do as many question papers as you can before you write. Go into the basic Department of Basic Education website. There are a lot of past question papers there, or you can say business studies past question papers in Google, and you have a lot of website where you can just download question papers, previous question papers, and practice. It's very, very important. And I wish you nothing but the best for your exams. Yeah, you've got this. Just Make sure that you are well rested. And if you can't study through the night, don't. Do what you have always been comfortable with and don't try new things. Okay, it's the end and you will be victorious. Now let's get into the question paper. So question 1, we have 1.1 says various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the answer and write only the letter A to D next to the question number 1.1.1 to 1.1.5 in your answer book. Emma, 1.1.1 says, Emma will receive a predetermined amount invested in a when she reaches a certain age. So Emma will receive a predetermined amount invested in a when she reaches a certain age. When you reach a certain age, that is a retirement annuity. So it's an stockfiles do not go, they get money at the end of the year, and fixed deposits, you get your money at the end of the fixed deposit term. So it's a retirement annuity. So 1.1.1 goes with C. And then 1.2 says a non-profit company. You can just pause the video, do the questions, and then come back for answers. It's not a problem, or just guess with me. Non-profit companies are able to raise money through various donations. This refers to as a criterion for contributing to the success of the business. So it refers to capital, okay? And then 1.1.2 will go with number B. So 1.1.3, so those donations will be the capital for them to be able to run the business, okay? They depend on that. And then it cannot be taxation, it cannot be dividends of profit, it cannot be legislation. So go through your options carefully when you're choosing. So 1.1.3 says presenters use as a visual aid to display large illustrations of products to support the core message of the presentation. And that is 1.1.3, that is a D. So flashcards, we know flashcards is something very small where you're presenting. Instead of you taking a long paper to present your speech, you will use flashcards. So it's posters. So presenters use posters as a visual aid to display large illustrations of product to support the core message of the presentation. So 1.1.3 goes with a D. 1.1.4, Chila's traders submitted false returns to SARS. This is known as a type of unethical business practice. So if you submitted false tax returns to SARS, you are evading a tax. So that is a tax evasion. And 1.1.4 is number A. You're not avoiding tax. When you are avoiding tax, guys, it's when you are doing the things that SARS allows you to do in order for you not to be taxed more. So you're avoiding tax. Like you, the companies that also offer bursaries to students, the money that they offer as bursaries to students they will be paid back that money by SARS. So they are avoiding tax by doing good. Okay, tax evasion is when you are totally doing all criminal activities, all forms of criminal activities for you not to pay tax. So it's a crime. 1.1.5 says team leaders implement as a criterion for successful team performance by providing regular feedback to their members. So that is communication. They implement communication. Remember, by providing regular feedback. Feedback is what cooperation is working together. Shared value is shared value. Interpersonal attitude and behavior. No, it's communication. Okay? Understand what is needed, and I'm telling you, the multiple choice questions will just be your A game. So complete the following statements by using the words provided in the list below. Write only the words next to the question number. So we have social, founders, situational, decision making, economic, problem solving, unlimited, transformational, bonus, and limited. So 1.2.1 says companies uses shares as compensation for unpaid dividends. Let's look in the box. Those are bonus shares. So you get bonus shares. The companies issue bonus shares as compensation for unpaid dividends. So 1.2.2 says, cool, some enterprise implements the leadership theory as the business operates in a dynamic environment characterized by constant change. So that is transformation leadership theory. And then 1.2.3 says, the personal asset of partners can be sold to pay off the debts of the partnership due to bankruptcy. This refers to unlimited liability. So unlimited liability is when the debt of the business are the debt of the owners. So that's what exactly happens in what partnerships. Bravo advertisers implemented the process when they analyzed the situation to identify strategies necessary for change. So 1.2.4 will go with problem solving. And then 1.2.5 says businesses promote rights by providing clean water and healthcare services to their employees. That is social rights. Now let's go to 1.3. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Like, leave a comment. Let's continue. Choose a description from column B that matches a term in column A. Write only letter A to G, next to the question number 1.3.1 to 1.3.5 in your answer book. So 1.3.1, it says RSA retail saving bonds. 1.3.2 is access. 1.3.3 is social responsibility. And 1.3.4 is grievance. And then 1.3.5 is health and safety representatives. So for 1.3.1, SA retail saving bonds will go with I. Okay, so South African RSA retail saving bonds goes with I. Investors receive interest twice per year. And then access goes with 1.3.2 with G, paid by the insured when a claim is lodged. And then 1.3.3, social responsibility goes with J. Businesses contribute time and efforts to improve the well-being of their communities. And then grievance, 1.3.4, goes with F, occurs when an employee has a complaint in the workplace. And then 1.3.5, health and safety representatives, goes with C, ensures that personal protective clothing is available to all employees. So you just take a term and match it with a description in column B. So if you didn't catch the answers, here they are as a recap for question 1, and that is how you gracefully get your 30 marks. All right. Section B, answer any 2 questions in this section. So we'll start with business ventures, which is question 2. List 4 types of preference shares and outline the functions of the Johannesburg Security Exchange. So pause the video, try to write this down, and then play the video again to see the answers. So types of preference shares are participating, non-participating, cumulative, non-cumulative, redeemable, non-redeemable, convertible, and non-convertible. So you just have to know participating, cumulative, redeemable, convertible. Okay? So that's what you have to know. Types of preference shares: participating, cumulative, redeemable, convertible. And then you just say participating, non-participating, cumulative, non-cumulative, redeemable, non-redeemable, convertible, non-convertible. Non-participating, So that is how you know your type of shares, preference shares. And then the functions of the Johannesburg Security Exchange. The functions are: what does the JSE do? It gives opportunities to financial institutions to invest their surplus funds in shares. It serves as a barometer indicator of economic conditions in South Africa, keeps investors informed by publishing share prices daily, acts as a link between investors and public companies. Shares are valued and assessed by experts. Small investors are invited to take part in the economy of the country through the buying and selling of shares. So when you are asked to do the functions and it's 6 marks, you have to give 3 functions using full sentences. Okay, so you explain the function clearly. Each 3, only 3 full sentences will award you 6 marks. Or you can do 6 half sentences. They what? They it's a platform. They serve as a platform for you to buy shares. So so that will be number 1. Maybe that will give you 2 marks and so forth. So you can also, they have an exception to say any other relevant answer related to the functions of JSE. So you're not limited. Right? It's a platform where we can purchase shares. They act as a middleman between the companies which are selling their shares and the public. Right? So those type of things. That's how you answer this type of questions. All right, let's look at 2.3. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Venus Enterprise requested Mabel, the marketing manager, to present their marketing plan to stakeholders. Mabel used PowerPoint pictures and flip charts during her presentation. She was also able to handle feedback in a non-aggressive and professional manner after her presentation. Name 2 examples of non-verbal presentation in the scenario. Non-verbal is where we are not talking, okay? No audio visuals. Verbal, loud, talking, right? And then 2.3.2 says, explain ways in which Mabel could handle feedback in a non-aggressive and professional manner after her presentation. So 2.3.1 is pictures, flip charts, okay? So you will only be marked for the first 2 if you have given more than 2. And then handling feedback in a non-aggressive and professional manner after a presentation. How? How can you respond without being aggressive to feedback? Provide feedback as soon as possible after the question was asked or after the session. Be direct, honest, sincere when responding to questions. Ensure that each question comment is clearly understood before responding. Rephrase question if uncertain. Okay, the presenter should first listen and then respond. So meaning, how should you behave when you're responding to questions? How can you best behave professionally when responding to questions after you have conducted a presentation and now people are trying to ask questions? That's how you answer this type of question, okay? And if you're asked to do this type of question where you are explaining, you need to give 1 full sentence. It will give you 2 marks. So if it's 4 marks, you just do 2. If it's 6, you do 3. But if you just have, let's see this, Mabel, the presenter should stand. It's 1. Standing means you are trying to be professional and not rude. It's 1. Throughout the feedback session, it's a complete sentence. So that will award you 2 marks. Be polite, confident, cautious, and calm. It's 1 mark. When responding to question, it's a full mark, and that gives you 2. So I hope you understand grade 12s. So 2.4 says, discuss the role of personal attitude in successful leadership. You are a leader. How should your attitude be to have a successful leadership? You answer. It says 6 marks. So you are going to discuss. Just give 3 full points, sentences and you have gotten yourself your 6 marks, and just like that. And then 2.5 says, elaborate on the meaning of return on investment as a factor that should be considered when making investment decisions. Return on investment is what you will get after you invest the money. They will say this is how much you will get after investing the money. So that is return on investment. Discuss return on investment. How important is it? The meaning of it and factors that should be considered. Okay, so that's how you answer. You just pause the video, try to write this on your own, and you get your answers. This is another way for you to practice before you actually write. So, role of personal attitude in successful leadership is that positive attitude releases leadership potential. A leader's good attitude can influence the success of the business. Leaders must know their strengths, weaknesses to apply their leadership styles effectively. A great leader understands the right attitude will set the right atmosphere. Okay? So you must respect yourself and respect other people. It's another fact. Any other relevant answer related to personal attitude in successful leadership. So respect yourself and respect others so that you can have a positive attitude throughout your leadership with people that you are leading. You respect them, they respect you. So that leadership is successful. Meaning of return on investment refers to income from investment, namely interest, dividends, increased capital growth on the original amount invested. High-risk investment yield high returns. Generally, there will be direct link between risk and return. So the return should be expressed as net after-tax gain on the investment. So guys, when you asked to discuss something, give the function, you describing that particular thing will also award you marks. So make sure that you know with what they think different things mean that you will be asked, and you can also define them. So when you are asked to answer a question like this, discuss, elaborate, blah blah blah, it's like you are explaining. Make it as if like you're explaining what is return on investment to your grandmother or whoever. And that's how you will get your full marks. In point form though. Do not come with paragraphs. Very important that you know how to write in point forms. Full sentences. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Helen, a manager at Foster Trading, applies the autocratic leadership style to lead and manage employees. She makes quick decisions without consulting employees. She offers reward to employees who meet their daily targets. Helen's direct supervision ensures that high-quality services are rendered. 2.6.1 quote 2 advantages of the autocratic leadership style applied by Helen from the scenario below. What are advantages? Are the positives of that leadership style. Explain other advantages of autocratic leadership styles. And then 2.7 says advise businesses on the characteristics of a public company. What is characteristics of a public company? What is a public company? That's how you write it. So autocratic leadership, she makes quick decisions without consulting employees. So that is an advantage, that you are just able to think without having to engage anybody. Helen's direct supervision ensures that high quality services are rendered. So she's supervising on herself. So high quality services are rendered. Other advantages of autocratic leadership style is that work gets done in time, on schedule. The leader has certainty that decisions will be made timelessly without delays. Line of command communication is clear as it is top down. Followers know exactly what to do. There is no uncertainty regarding the source of instruction, which comes directly from the leader. Any other relevant answer not limited to what has been written here, the memo will be discussed. So make sure that whatever you have written still applies to autocratic leadership style, as a style where the leader makes all the decisions without consulting anybody or whatsoever. Characteristics of a public company. A minimum of one person is required to start the public company. The company name ends with Ltd. Shareholders of the public company have limited liability. Public companies have legal personality and therefore has unlimited continuity. So you just explain what is a public company. Characteristics are, what are your characteristics? You are a boy or you're a girl, you're tall, you short, you shy, that is characteristics. Now we're in question 3. So is business ventures and business roles for grade 12. All right. So 3.1 says name 4 human rights in the workplace. Yeah. Business ventures were paper 1. Let me see. Business operations. Okay. Business operations paper 1. Yeah. So business roles. We are now on business roles. 3.1 says, so you will do 3.1 to 3.3. And then just pause the video and then come back for answers. 3.1, name 4 human rights in the workplace. Human rights in the workplace. Human rights in the workplace. Human rights due to human rights in the workplace. So name 4 of them. 3.2, outline the causes of conflict in the workplace. The causes of conflict. Conflict is where we can be a misunderstanding, or we're just not getting along. How do we address fights? And then 3.3, read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Now, Lady Consulting requested a panel of experts to solve their complex business problem by completing a questionnaire. NC also decided that each employee should silently generate ideas before sharing them with their colleagues. Identify 2 problem-solving techniques applied by NC. Motivate your answer by quoting from the scenario above. So you're going to say a problem-solving. Let's say brainstorming. What do you say is brainstorming? You pick a example from this scenario that you are given as motivation. So 3.1, human rights, you have a right to privacy, dignity, equity, freedom of speech and expression, information, safety, security, and protection of life. And then 3.2, causes of conflict in the workplace is lack of proper communication between management and workers. Ignoring rules, procedures may result in disagreement. Management and workers may have different personalities or background. So those are the causes of conflict. What causes conflict in the workplace? And then any other relevant answer. So guys, right, as long as you understand the question, give your answers. You will definitely get it right. Don't be afraid. So we have the Delphi technique when a Lady Consulting requested a panel of experts to solve their business problem. So when experts are consulted to solve problem is the Delphi technique. And then 2 is nominal group technique, where NC also decided that each employee should silently generate ideas before sharing them with their colleagues. I hope you got it right. All right, 3.4, discuss the advantages of creative thinking in the workplace. So if you're asked in the workplace to creatively think about solution, what will be the advantage of that? More and unique ideas will be formed. You see, that's what will happen there. So 3.5, explain ways in which businesses can deal with difficult employees in the workplace. And then read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Protea Landscaping wants to invest their surplus profit in corporate social investment projects. The management of PL is keen to develop their employees for the sake of personal growth. They also want to prioritize rural development so that the movement of people to cities is minimized. 3.6.1 says state 2 focus areas of corporate social investment applicable to PL in the scenario below. Discuss the impact of CSI on communities. So these are the advantage of creative thinking. There's better, unique, unconventional ideas, solutions are generated, may give the business a competitive advantage if unusual, unique solution ideas, strategies are implemented. Complex business problems may be solved. Right? So that's how you answer that question. You're not limited to what appears here. Any other relevant answers will be taken. This memo or questions will be discussed beforehand, so you don't have to worry. 3.5 ways in which businesses can deal with difficult employees. If you have someone difficult that you have hired, how can you best help them? Is to get perspective from others who have experienced the same kind of situation to be able to understand difficult employees. Act proactively if possible, as staff personnel problem is part of manager's responsibility. So how would you deal with a difficult employee if you were the manager? That's how you will answer this question. Corporate social investment 3.6.1. Focus area of corporate social investment in scenario they're focusing on employees and rural development. Impact of CSI on communities. You can have a positive one and a negative one. Sorry, if they did not specify whether you should do positive impact or negative impact, you can choose whether you decide to make a negative to write a positive impact or a negative impact. So, but you cannot do both. Okay. Decide if you want to do a positive one or a negative impact. CSI, social corporate responsibilities. Corporate social CSI is corporate social investment. How does it impact communities? So it's a positive, which is advantage, or the negative, which is a disadvantages. And then 3.7 says, recommend ways in which businesses could deal with the following unprofessional business practices: sexual harassment, unauthorized use of workplace funds and resources. How would you deal with these issues if you were the manager or the owner of the business? So for sexual harassment, provide a framework for corrective actions. Educate employers on sexual harassment matters. Formulate a policy regarding sexual harassment. Implement internal complaints and disciplinary procedures. And then any other relevant answer: unauthorized use of workplace funds or resources. Conduct regular audits to prevent unauthorized use of funds at an early stage. Identify risk areas, vulnerable areas. Limit the number of employees having access to business funds or asset. So guys, here, that's where you think outside the box. And then I promise you, that business studies, there is no way you will not pass it. There is no way. Because you just have to understand, how can you make sure that people do not use business funds without consent of the manager or the business owner? How? That's how you answer this question. Any other relevant answers you will get. So you don't have to panic. Understand your work. Google words if you don't understand them, now that you are studying, so that you know every single thing, what it means. Business studies is those type of subject where you read to understand content. You don't go there to cram content. You understand it, because a lot of these questions are explaining, discuss, da 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 da. You don't just list where you are listing. So if you understand your work, you don't have to cram the work. You just be flowing with the question paper and you're understanding everything. Oh, sexual harassment. Well, I know what is sexual harassment. It's when someone is being sexually harassed at work. Maybe someone is flirting with you at work and you don't like it, or is looking at you in a certain way. How do I deal with that in a workplace? If I have my business, how would I deal with such matters? This is how you answer them. So business studies, guys, is something that you understand. Okay? It's not something you just cram. You will not enjoy it when you cram. Understand it. Google if you have to. Okay? It's very easy subject, so treat it like that. Don't complicate things. We are at the end of question 2. Question 3, let's go to question 4. Yes, miscellaneous topics. Business ventures and business roles. Now let's look at business ventures first. 4.1. Name 4 examples of non-insurable risks. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Greenview retailers invested an amount of 20,000 rand at 16% simple interest over a period of 2 years in a fixed deposit with Unity Bank. Calculate the interest that Greenview retailers will receive after 2 years. Show all calculations. Discuss the advantages of fixed deposit as a form of investment. Explain how management as a criterion can contribute to the success or the failure of a partnership. Management. Advise presenters on aspects that must be considered when designing a multimedia presentation. So, examples of non-insurable risks. Non-insurable risks are risks that you cannot insure. You can insure your health, your house, your car. So, non-insurable are things that you cannot insure. Those are earthquakes, war, nuclear weapons, change in fashion, improvements, change in technology, irrecoverable debts, high rate of inflation, financial loss due to bad management, possible failure of a business. So things that you cannot insure. You cannot go to insurance company and say, hey, I want to insure this. So any other relevant answer will also be taken. So you need 4. And then 4.2, investment securities. You have to use simple interest is principal, time is the rate, which is the percentage, time is the time, which is the number of years. So the interest is 6,400 rand on the 20,000 rand invested. So in total, they will have 26,400 at the end of 2 years. 4.2.2, advantages of fixed deposit. Fixed deposit is money that you take to the bank and fix it for a certain period of time, and then you earn an interest. You cannot withdraw it. Most of the time, the bank says if you want to withdraw it before the fixed deposit time expire, you need to pay a penalty fee. So interest is earned at a fixed rate regardless of change in economic climate. The period of investment can be over a short, medium, or long term. Investors can choose the investment period that suits them. Principal amount plus interest earned is paid out on the maturity date. It ensures financial discipline as investors cannot withdraw their funds before the maturity date. And then contribution of management to the success or failure of the business. We have successful factors and failure factors. So partners are actively involved in management and use the ideas of other partners. So we are not fighting against each other. If the partners are not fighting, they're working together. Partners have access to expertise of other partners when difficult decisions have to be made. Yes, not all partners need to be actively involved in the management and would rather appoint competent managers. And then failure factors is decision making can be time consuming as all partners have to be in agreement. Some management tasks may be neglected as one partner may leave it to others to complete, and then partners may disagree on how to run the business, which may lead to tension between them. And then aspects that must be considered when designing a multimedia presentation. Start with the text, which form the basis of the presentation. Select the background to complete enhance the text. Choose images that may help to communicate the message. Include creative graphics to assist the information which is conveyed. Add special effects, sound, pictures, animation to make it interesting for your audience. So how do you captivate people when you are doing a PowerPoint presentation or so on? Now we are on business roles. 4.5. Name 2 elements of the triple bottom line. 4.6. Explain ways in which businesses can create an environment that promotes creative thinking in the workplace. 4.7. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. VUCA team specializes in planning and organizing social events for various clients. VT members criticize each other's ideas as they all compete for the team leader's position. Team members finally appreciate each other's differences and are able to work independently. Identify 2 stages of team development suitable to VT. Motivate your answer by quoting from the scenario. So those are the elements of the triple bottom line: profit, people, planet. Any 2, you get your marks. Ways in which businesses can create environment that promotes creative thinking. Emphasize the importance of creative thinking to ensure that all staff know that management wants to hear their ideas. How to make people more comfortable with giving out ideas to the management. Make time for brainstorming session to generate new ideas, such as regular workshops. Build on one another's ideas. Any other relevant answer? And then 4.7, storming, performing, stages of team development, storming, performing. And then VT members criticize each other's ideas, and then the team members finally appreciate each other's differences. So those are the stages of development. 4.8, explain how businesses can apply transparency as a king code principle for good corporate governance. Suggest ways. 4.9, suggest ways in which businesses can contribute time and efforts in improving the well-being of employees. Transparency is honesty. So this is how they can apply honesty. Decisions, actions must be clear to all stakeholders. 4.9, ways in which businesses can contribute time and efforts in improving the well-being of employees. Businesses should pay fair wages, salaries to the workers based on the nature of their work, the prevailing economic conditions in the market. Pay fair bonuses based on business earnings as acknowledgement for hard work and commitment. And you're not limited to all of this, you see. Any other relevant answer? Before we are done with section 4, before we start section C, let's look at this marking guideline. So this is the breakdown of mark allocation for the essay. Introduction, content, conclusion, 32 marks. Insight will give in 8 marks. So total will be 40. Insight consists of the following concepts: analysis and interpretation. It is the candidate able to break down the question into headings, subheadings, interpret it correctly to show understanding of what is being asked? There is 2 marks. Synthesis: are the relevant decisions, facts, responses made based on the question, or you are now out of line? You're now talking about something else. You are asked about forms of ownership, and you are here talking about sectors of the economy. You will not get the 2 marks. Only relevant facts, 2 marks. Some relevant facts, 1. Some relevant facts. So you need to give relevant facts. So synthesis is 2 marks. And originality: is there evidence of one of or 2 examples not older than 2 years? You can talk about something that recently happened in the country, you heard in the news. That is originality, and that gives you 2 marks in your essay. No marks will be awarded for content repeated from introduction to conclusion. So you cannot write your introduction as a conclusion or in your body. Don't duplicate stuff, guys. Introduction is where you explain. If you're asked to write an essay about human resources, in your introduction, you explain what is human resource. In your conclusion, you give advice, effect about human resources. You can say in conclusion, a business that does not have a human resource function will not be able to hire quality employees. That is effect, and you're going to get your 2 marks. So the candidate forfeits marks for layout if the words introduction and conclusion are not stated. You need to say introduction right, body right, conclusion right. Okay? So you don't just write a full letter like this, even not a letter, a full speech that does not have introduction, body, and conclusion. You get marks for a layout. No marks will be awarded for layout if the heading, introduction, and conclusion are not supported by an explanation. You say introduction and write the introduction, body, then you say conclusion, write conclusion, and then write your conclusion. Not just conclusion, introduction. What is your introduction to? You're not going to get marks for all of that. Indicate insight in the left-hand margin of the symbol. Breakdown of marks is indicated at the end of the suggestion, marking, oh, this one is for the people who are marking. Section C. So let's look at business ventures. Business enjoy the benefit of different types of insurance. Some businesses over-insure while other businesses under-insure their property. They also maintain that employees should receive benefits offered by the Unemployment Insurance Fund. The principle of indemnification or indemnity also encourages businesses to insure their various business assets. So, in this box, they do not explain what is insurance, right? So go to the body and see if you are not required to explain what is insurance. Write an essay on insurance in which you include the following aspects. Outline the advantages of insurance for the business. Differentiate between over-insured and under-insured. Discuss any 4 types of benefit paid out by the Unemployment Insurance Fund. Advise businesses of indemnity as a principle of insurance. You are not in any way asked to write what is the meaning of insurance. So in your body, you will go and write what is insurance, okay? That is the easiest way. Not in your body, in your introduction. Then you are done. In your body, you will write it's 5. Your introduction will be 5.1. So your body outline the advantages of insurance will be 5.2. The differentiate between over-insured and under-insured, it will be heading of 5.3. And then discuss any 4 types of benefits paid out by the Unemployment Insurance Fund, that will be 5.4. And then advise the business on indemnification, that will be 5.5. And then your conclusion will be 5.6. So this is what you can ask. In the introduction, businesses are exposed to many risks and therefore need to take out insurance to protect themselves against these risks. Businesses must assess the market value of insured items to ensure that they are not over or under. Any other relevant introduction related to the advantages of insurance for businesses, difference between over-insured and uninsurance benefit as a principle of insurance. Okay, anything under insurance that has been written there, you will get your marks. You explain what is insurance, you talk about under insured, over insured, indemnity, blah blah blah. Explaining anything under the bracket insurance, you will get your marks. Advantages of insurance for businesses, there you have it. That is advantages, the benefits of having insurance as a business. That's how you answer it. And then difference between over-insured and under-insured. When you're over-insured is when you have insured your property more than its value. This value, especially cars lose value. So over time, you need to be consulting with the insurance company to reduce your premiums because the value of your car is decreasing. It was 600,000 rand when you bought it, and now it's 400,000 rand after 3 years or 2 years. So you cannot still be paying, because the insurance company will only pay you the value of your car presently, not when you bought it. And then underinsured is when you have insured your properties with less money. You actually need 50,000 rand to replace your house in a case of fire or anything, but you have insured it for 20,000. That is under insurance. And then types of benefits paid out by Unemployment Insurance Fund are unemployment benefits. That's what you have there. And then it's still illnesses is unemployment benefits. It is illness. They pay sick when you are sick. Maternity benefits, adoption benefit, dependent benefit. Only 4 is required. And then indemnity is explained there. And then you have your conclusion. And that's how you get your 40 marks. We have question 6, business roles, human rights, inclusivity, and environmental issues. So businesses employ people from diverse backgrounds to take care of their own health and safety in the workplace. Businesses deal with different diversity issues so that they can enjoy the benefit of a diverse workplace. They must also promote the cultural rights of their employees in the workplace. Write an essay on human rights, inclusivity, and environmental issues in which you include the following aspect. Outline the responsibilities of workers in promoting human health and safety in the workplace. Explain ways in which businesses could deal with any three diversity issues in the workplace, excluding culture and religion. Discuss the benefit of diversity in the workplace and recommend ways in which businesses could promote cultural rights in the workplace. And then that is how you will introduce the topic. And here you are on the body. So with grade 12, it's not important to write body. To write conclusion and write introduction is very important. So that is how. Let's start the introduction. And then that is your body. When you write an essay, write an essay as if you are explaining to somebody, not doing it in point form. I tell you, that is the only way to be able to write everything down, to give out full facts about any topic you're asked to write about. So these are the topics for paper 1 that you have to know. So for paper 1, you have to know essays on these topics. If you're asked to write any essay on this topic, you should know for paper 1. And then for paper 2, these are the ones that you should know. So yeah, we have 2 topics from term 1 for paper 2, and then more topics are just from term 2 and term 3. You see, so there's a lot in term 2. So guys, it's either you know all the essay topics in business ventures, or you know all the topics in business roles for paper 2. If you can't know the essay for every topic, make sure you master either business ventures or business roles. All of the topics in business ventures, you should know their essays. Or all the topics in business roles, you should know their essays, so that you can write an essay that appears. So you cannot just know an essay in creative thinking and in investment insurance. No, it's not going to work. It's either you know management and leadership, investment security opportunities, investment insurance, forms of ownership, and presentation of data. You know everything there. You master them. Or you master ethics and professionalism, creative thinking, social responsibility, human rights, and team performance, because those are business roles. And then for paper 1, it's either you master human resource and quality performance as an essay type question, or you answer macro environment and its impact, macro environment and business strategies, or business sectors. So it's either you know business environment, everything in there, or business operations. So you cannot know just human resource and business strategies. It's not going to work. You must know everything in business environments or everything in business operations for you to have your essays. I hope the tips worked and they will help you. Leave a comment or like this video, share, and good luck, and I wish you all the best for your trial exams.